First to the developing story at airports across the country this morning. Flights to and from Bali have been cancelled, severely disrupting travel plans. An Indonesian volcano that erupted at the weekend is to blame for the chaos. The ash cloud caused multiple cancellations in and out of Bali yesterday, with the disruptions continuing today. Let's go straight to Sophie Holder, who's at Adelaide Airport. Sophie, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Bridget. Yes, that's right. So this volcanic ash has caused some disruptions for people. We're here at the Adelaide Airport today where we have seen a flight cancelled this morning. Now, this has followed eruptions from the Mount Lewotobi volcano, which first erupted a little while ago, which caused the death, unfortunately, of 9 people. Now, Jetstar says that it's not currently safe to be operating flights to and from Bali and says that all of its flights to and from the Denpasar Airport have been cancelled at least until 2 p.m. Eastern time today. Now, it says that impacted customers have been notified and that those alternative options have been provided to them. But Jetstar does say that it's still intending to operate at least 2 return services this afternoon, including a larger 787 flight to help people hopefully get to and from their destinations as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Virgin Airlines does say that the safety of its guests and also its crew is of its highest priority. It says that it regrets the inconvenience that's been caused for its passengers and that the team is working hard to ensure that all of those passengers can get to their destinations not only as quickly as possible, but also as safely as possible too. Now, the government is also warning, the smart traveller rather, is warning that people who are concerned that they might be impacted by this should get in touch with their respective airlines to find out.
Sophie Holder, thanks very much.
Thousands of nurses and midwives are walking off the job this morning in New South Wales for a 3rd time this year. For more on the dispute and the potential effect the strike could have on emergency departments, let's bring in Miles Holbrook-Walk in Sydney. Miles, good morning. So what impact are these strikes going to have?
Well, Emma, just emergency departments behind me right here, we're going to see longer waiting times. We're also going to see the postponement of elective surgeries. Now, elective surgeries, for those unknown, cataract removals on eyes, ligament damage that needs repairing, as well as hip replacements are typically common elective surgeries. Just how long they'll be rescheduled and pushed back by will remain to be seen, because there will be a number of these operations that would have happened today that will all need to find a replacement day. Obviously, those replacement days, though, are already booked up. Now, what's really important for people to know is that life-saving and emergency care will still be provided at every hospital around New South Wales. Now, the reason we're seeing this industrial action take place is because nurses have been fighting for a 15% pay increase. They're also frustrated at the process of the New South Wales government to implement patient-to-staff and specifically nurse and midwife ratios, which was committed to by the government, but the uptake of which has been slow. We've spoken to the nursing and midwife representative from Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, where I am right now. Katina Skylas has said that essentially you have nurses at their breaking point over the current state of play.
Never before have we had conditions like this. I work alongside amazing clinicians who every day try their utmost best to do their work, but increasingly it's challenging because we just can't keep staff.
And of course, nurses across the state of New South Wales have pointed to the fact that in other parts of the country, nurses are paid better. So you're having a slippage or leakage in workforce for nurses seeking better paying conditions in other parts of the country. Of course, there's also been a major pay deal struck with police this week that has been somewhat galling to nurses here in New South Wales. I spoke to one nurse just off camera who they didn't want to go on camera, but they just finished their night shift, and they said earlier they'd been told by the New South Wales government that a deal with emergency service workers in any line or industry would be too expensive to go to 15% because other industries in the emergency services might ask for it. The fact that now New South Wales Police, also emergency service workers, have signed a deal that could see some workers increase their pay by 40% has come off as extremely galling, and it's something that they are immensely frustrated with the government about. The New South Wales government, for what it's worth, is saying is that they think a 10.5% pay increase is reasonable and won't have any significant impacts on the budget, and that they are trying to manage a range of economic challenges right now across the state, and that's what they want to see agreed to. Now, there will have to be an increased pay offer of some sort, but if the union and government can't come together, then it will be up to the independent umpire, the Fair Work Commission, to adjudicate a new pay deal between the two parties. Emma?
OK, we'll keep across that during the day. Miles, thank you.
To more news now. A man is under police guard in hospital following a dramatic end to an armed standoff with police in Melbourne's west. Police say the man fired at officers before barricading himself inside a home in Weirviews yesterday afternoon. A man and a toddler, not known to the suspect, were inside at the time, and officers negotiated their release.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for severe punishment for the person responsible for a deadly car ramming attack in southern China. Police say they arrested a 62-year-old man after a car struck a crowd of people outside a sports centre in the city of Zhuhai. It killed at least 35 people and wounding more than 40 others. They say the man is in a coma from self-inflicted wounds and the incident is not believed to be terror-related.
Following weeks of pressure from the United States, the Israeli military has announced it will open a new crossing for humanitarian aid into Gaza. The fifth crossing was part of a list of major demands the US had imposed on Israel in October. This comes as Israel's defence minister rules out a ceasefire in Lebanon in comments that appear to contradict earlier claims from the country's foreign minister.
Social media giant Meta has won big at the annual Shonky Awards over its failure to protect Australians from scammers. The tongue-in-cheek awards are handed out by consumer advocacy group Choice and recognise the worst of the worst products and services. Data suggests that Meta's platforms, which include Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp, accounted for 76% of all reported social media scam losses last year.
Oil and gas giant Shell has won an appeal against a court ruling which had ordered it to drastically cut greenhouse gas emissions. The Hague Appeals Court dismissed the entire 2021 ruling, which called for Shell to cut its emissions by 45% by 2030, including emissions caused by the use of its product. The court found Shell is already on the way to meeting its own required targets and that it was unclear if demands to reduce emissions from others would help fight climate change.